Hello there. I'm Barry. As you know at this stage, anyway. Today I want to talk. Today I want to talk a little bit about paradigms, or why am I stuck? Because this is a question that I get asked a lot lately. For some reason, it seems to be coming up a hell of a lot. Every second call I have with somebody, and they ask the question of, what's wrong with me, or why am I stuck? Why do I keep getting the same problems, or I can't move forward with my business, or I can't develop clients, or I can't get more income, or I can't. And I suppose that's the definitive word here is I can't. They keep saying that they can't. And the important aspect is to start looking at the solution and not the problem. I talked earlier today with another gentleman, and we were talking about 5 months. He's in the coaching space, and he just seemed to can't get out of the situation he's in, where he can't develop clients and he can't develop income and so forth. So again, like what I had said to him, it's all about creating a different mindset. And I know mindset is the cliche when we talk about, millionaires or becoming a millionaire or developing your income. But the fact is that that's exactly what it is. It is down to your mindset. You need to change your thought process if you want to accelerate in your business or your life. Basically, you need to look at what you're currently doing and possibly change your beliefs, your behaviors, and your habits. Because if you don't change all of them or some of them, you'll find that you'll still be stuck. Because we all get caught up with our habitual state of behavior, and that is, of course, our paradigms. That's what keeps us doing the same things every day. So I've had another aspect of it where somebody might say, I've changed my behaviors, I've started to do something else. And then I would say, you probably found within a short period that you end up back to the way you were. And they say, yes, that's why I'm stuck. I say, well, stop concentrating on being stuck and start concentrating on what you need to do to change that. So it's almost like if you are not developing business or you're not developing clients, well, what are you doing about it? Are you sitting back and waiting for the law of attraction to happen and, the people to start ringing you just because you start thinking about it? Well, unfortunately, you need to take some action. You need to take measurable, actionable results that will give you the results that you want. So what I mean is you need to start looking at what it is you need to do. If you're looking to develop your business, and let's say you're a lawyer or an accountant or a solicitor, well, then maybe you need to pick up the phone and start ringing people to see if they're interested in your services. Now, of course, you can't just pick up the phone and start ringing everybody and anybody and hoping at the end of the conversation that they'll take on your services. It doesn't work like that. And that's why we say start to look at your niche. Start to look at what it is that, or the person that you want to work with. What's your ideal client? What's your avatar? What's your niche? And then start to go to the hunting ground of where they hang out, because these people are looking to try and solve their problems. So what do? They hang out in certain areas or certain places to find the people to help them to solve their problem. So you just need to start hanging out in them areas. And then, of course, you'll start to find your ideal client. But before you do that, you've got to make sure that you start to train yourself to become uncomfortable. Because if you don't, you're stuck with your paradigms. And that's you being comfortable with your own habitual state of behavior. Same thing all day, every day, doing the same things but getting no results. Most people will look at, if I just had a system, if just somebody would show me a system that I need to do, or the guy, a coach down the road and he's got a system, and if I just follow that system, I'll have the same results he has. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But in most cases you won't, because you're not outside your comfort zone. And in some cases, you'll find that you can do exactly the same as he or she is doing to find that you don't get the same results. Because you got to remember, the mindset that you currently have is going to be different than the mindset you have when you're doing, say, 100,000 a year, or if you're doing 500,000 a year, if you're doing 1 million a year. You've got to adapt into that. And certainly then, when the mindset changes, so does everything else got to do with the business. So whilst you might say, well, look, I'd love to earn 1 million a year, and I'd be going on holidays all the time and doing everything you ever wanted, living in a nice house and driving a flash car. Well, sometimes that doesn't happen, and people end up with burnout, and then they end up giving it all up and going back to the way they used to be. Their paradigm sucked them back in. Why? Because they didn't adapt to the change. They didn't have the necessary skills to change their beliefs, their behaviors, and their habits to allow them to become successful and adapt to that change. So I'm hoping you found this of benefit. If you did, comment below and say yes or no, whichever. If it's something that you would like to talk more about, well, please do just private message me, and I'll be only too glad to talk to you.